What were the big issues as you canvassed the state over the last several months that you heard time and time again?
Yeah, well, good morning and thanks for having me. As I've been traveling the state, the thing that I have heard by far the most, it doesn't matter whether I'm in the urban areas or the rural areas, is that Iowans are struggling. And they are hurting just to keep food on the table, a roof above their head, and gas in their tank. And as you mentioned, I think that the tariffs have affected Iowans by far the most. I mean, this is a state that is dead last for economic growth, 48th for personal income growth, one of two states already in an economic decline. We're basically dead last for every single healthcare metric, 250 more clinics than we've opened in the last 15 years, only state with a growing cancer rate. And now we lead the nation in farm foreclosures because of the tariffs. Iowans are hurting and they're ready for change, and they're ready for a common sense prairie populist like myself.
You've been focused, obviously, on your Democratic primary opponents. You reached out to the supporters of your opponent last night in your victory speech. Now the attention, of course, turns to the general election in November. Ashley Hinson, she won the primary on that side. What is your read on her and what kind of race this will be?
Ashley has a lot to answer for. She has not looked out for Iowans. She just looked out for the billionaires and the large corporations, the donors, the lobbyists, and has been a rubber stamp for the Trump administration. Ashley voted for 110,000 Iowans to lose their health care. This is in a state with a health care crisis. She's someone that voted for 119,000 Iowans to see their health care premiums double or triple with the loss of the ACA subsidies. 4 times voted in favor of the tariffs that have absolutely decimated our farmers. We lead the nation now in farm foreclosures. Has been in favor of raising the age of Social Security. She's 10 times more wealthy in her time in Congress. Initially was voting against a ban on stock trading to members of Congress and their family. She's just been a rubber stamp for Trump and looked out for the haves, for the 1%. And Iowans are falling behind and they're ready for change.
Josh, I'm going to guess that in your tour of all the voters during the primary campaign, many Iowans probably had a universal comment about their government, about the government of the United States, that it doesn't work for them, that they're hurting, as you just pointed out, and that they're upset with the fact that help is not on the way from the federal government. You were born with spina bifida, and I'm wondering whether you benefited from the Americans for Disabilities Act, an act enrolled years ago that has helped millions of Americans. So are you a product of government that does work?
Without a doubt, I say that my story is uniquely the American dream. No other country on earth could someone that grew up in the kind of economic adversity that I grew up in. I grew up in Council Bluffs, Iowa, to a working class family and a working class community. We went to the Goodwill for our clothes. We shared clothes, had the wrong color lunch tickets. Also was born with my disability of spina bifida. This was due to my father's exposure to Agent Orange in Vietnam. I had 21 surgeries before I was even 12 years old. I am absolutely the product of the American with Disabilities Act. One of the reasons why I decided to run for this Senate seat to begin with is because I'm only here because of the work of a senator from Iowa, Senator Tom Harkin, and the work that he did on the American with Disabilities Act provided me and so many other disabled Americans an on-ramp onto society. And now I'm seeing these social safety nets being hollowed out.
Vitaly, here in Washington, you know, you're, of course, running statewide, but the other statewide race that got my attention last night is the way that the ticket is now set up for the governor's election in Iowa. It's an open seat as well. Rob Sand will be at the top of that ticket as your fellow Democrat. But I was struck by the fact that the Republican who won in that contest was not the Republican that President Trump himself endorsed. That was Congressman Randy Feenstra, who conceded the nomination last night. And so I'm wondering, as you're looking at the ways that the sands might be shifting in Iowa, what you make of the fact that a Trump endorsement that's usually the gold standard for Republicans didn't actually carry the heft needed to make that person the nominee, and what it says about the state right now.
I think it shows that Iowans are legitimately ready for change. And my message to all the folks out there would be that we are not a red state. We are a common sense state that has masqueraded more red than what we are. In Trump's last midterm, we won 3 of the 4 congressional races, almost won all 4. In our last midterm, we were only 1.5% away from having 3 of our 6 statewide officials being Democrats. This is a state with a long history. 30 years we elect Senator Harkin, twice voted for Obama, 3 times for Trump, have more Obama-Trump counties than any other state in the union. And this is a state that has completely bottomed out. And I think much like we've seen in a state like Kansas, when you hit the bottom, people are ready for change. And I think between myself and Rob Sand at the top of the ticket, we give ourselves an amazing opportunity to do something special here in Iowa. Iowans are ready for change, and I believe we can win this U.S. Senate seat and change the state.
First, Zach, congratulations. Having been in primary wars, there are no other wars like them. They're very hard because you're many times campaigning against somebody that you like and respect, and it makes it doubly hard. And you had a tremendous win last night. I know you stressed unity at your announcement last night after your election. Do you have a good sense of that? I think that, people may be frustrated with some of the leadership in Washington, but I will say this: there are a whole lot of people, including the leader of the Senate, that from the day one thought you were the strongest candidate to win Iowa. And his judgment, I think, is borne out by the measure of your victory last night. Do you think now you can bring everybody together? And the other real question, if you've looked at the numbers, I know you have a semi-closed primary. Do you think you can make some ground up in rural Iowa? Your state is very much like mine in terms of what happened between the Obama election and the Trump election. Is that ground beginning to shift in rural Iowa based on what is going on in the Trump second term?
Well, on your first question, yes, absolutely. This is about us all coming together and taking advantage of this once-in-a-generation opportunity that we've got here in Iowa to win these congressional races, to have a new governor, and to be able to win this U.S. Senate race. And yes, absolutely. Part of the calculus on this is certainly going to be reconnecting with folks in the rural communities. And my goal is going to be to go into all 99 counties, every single one of these small and mid-sized communities, and talk to them about genuine populism. I understand why these folks have voted for Trump. I don't vilify them. I say that Trump accurately identified that the status quo was not working for them. And going out there and talking with them about genuine populism face to face is the way that we win them over. But I can tell you, when we're in the rural communities, the word that we hear the most is betrayal. And the Trump signs and the Trump flags are coming down. The Trump tariffs have hurt Iowa more than any other state. Farm foreclosures, we lead the nation in them, and farm suicides up. People are ready for change. And in rural Iowa, they're ready for change. And I'm someone with proven results of being able to win over independents and moderate Republicans. In the Iowa legislature, the 2 communities I represent, Trump won by 18 points and by 10 points. And I was able to win my district by nearly 6 points. And I know that the message of genuine populism is what's going to be able to win here in Iowa.